Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Nissan Rogue. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Nissan here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Rogue. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Paul. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbo 1.5 liter 3-cylinder that goes through a CVT. Fuel economy is 28 around town and then 35 on the highway, with power outputs being 201 horsepower and then 225 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the front end of the Rogue, we've got that split light design, which is pretty cool. Turn signal indicators at the top, you can see the lights down below. And then this is cool with all the chrome trim, and then you got the white and the Nissan logo. And so yeah, it's got this new distinctive style that I think looks pretty sharp. Kind of reminds me of the new Pathfinder front end. Now on the side here, our steering wheel setup is 235 by 65 by 17 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheels, again, you've got that kind of like metallic gray coloration. And this is cool with the fender flares. You can see the rest of the body work there along the side. And then notice the mirror caps and the door handles are actually contrasting to the rest of the body, which, look at that, that looks actually pretty cool. Now this of course leads us to the key fob, where we've got the Nissan logo, the lock and unlock function, pretty straightforward. And popping into the rear, you guys can see there's plenty of storage here in the back. We've got a cargo cover built in from the factory, which is nice. And yeah, I mean, this is a pretty solid area. I guess we'll quickly check underneath this. I got a spare tire underneath, which is always a nice feature to have. When you're all done, it is manual, so just pop that down. You guys can see the Nissan Rogue logo, all-wheel drive badge, and that's the rest of the back. Now, popping into the passenger area, it's soft touch here, where you can rest your arm, which is nice to have. Now, we do have the factory wrapping still on the seats, but we've got cloth seats here with this particular package. I'll do other packages on the Rogue for those of you wondering, but legroom back here is good. We've got some vents in the rear as well, and then headroom back here is actually really good. And then this leads us up front. You guys can see again with the soft touch here, and then it's not soft touch, but this portion is all of our window controls. We've got our mirror adjustments. Let's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. Looks like they've got blind spot honoring, which is nice. And then again, front seats are cloth, that darker trim underneath the wrapping. All your manual adjustments there on the side, and then you actually have this like fancy stitching on the dash. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, again, we got the wrapping, but more basic with the trim in this model. We do have paddle shifters there on the back. We've got a bunch of practical controls here in the front, including for cruise control, voice command controls, volume controls, all of that. Regular stocks on the back, and then you guys can see here with the gauge cluster. Will let me clear this? No, it will not let me clear this. But anyways, we've got a screen there in the center, and then you can see analog elements on either side. Now, because this is still in the shipping mode, we don't have access to the screen, but it does have a backup camera. You've got the camera button for that. Some physical controls. Just Nissan's kind of smaller unit. We've got single zone climate. Down below you can see the USB ports and all of that. Got the shifter here for the CVT, some cup holders, parking brake with our auto hold, and then our drive mode select here. And then quite a bit of storage there. I like the trim here on the top, it's nice. Speaking of nice trim, this is surprising. It's soft touch here on the dash all the way across, and yeah. Then even down here with the stitching, pretty fancy. Let's quick look at the glove box there. And then we got a manual mirror dimmer and then no sunroof or anything like that. Here's a quick look at the window sticker. You can see 2025 Nissan Rogue all-wheel drive. $33,340 is the total MSRP, so this is a more affordable all-wheel drive crossover. And sum things up. Well, let's go on a short little trip here in the Nissan Rogue. Here's visibility, by the way. Remember, we do have blind spot honoring even with this more entry-level package, which is nice. it's a nice feature to have. That is for sure. And like I said, I will do reviews on other packages with the Rogue in the near future. You know, I typically do the more loaded up packages, like the Platinum stuff. At least once for a model year, right? So, we'll get that done. But what I will say right off the bat is seats are pretty comfortable. Pretty smooth ride as well. And it seems like it just handles well in general. Good torque right off the bat. Nissan's Xtronic CVTs are actually really sharp. They're very quick with the transitions. So it does a good job there. Yes, it's decently quick for this segment. Again, you think 3-cylinder turbo and you're like, oh man, this is not gonna be all that fast. But no, it's got some good power. It really does. It's actually quite impressive. I'm just gonna sneak in through here. Yeah, we gotta do the whistle as we sneak through. And the low end is pretty good too. Not bad at all. It's quite impressive. So, to sum things up, the Nissan Rogue, I mean, this is a solid, affordable crossover. And it's got pretty good power. It looks pretty good. You know, I think the comparison most people make to this is what? Probably RAV4 and CR-V. And what I'd say, this has more power than the CR-V. Like, this feels quick. The CR-V doesn't. And the CR-V has a very similar engine type to this. Similar, not the same. CR-V is a 4-cylinder, but still CVT, turbo, small engine. So, you know, you've got some similarity there. But either way, yeah, I'd say it's quicker than the CR-V. And then with the RAV4, some of you guys might like the RAV4 because of the torque converter automatic that the RAV4 has. I can definitely see that as a solid thing to want. Thing to go for. But what I will say is that the RAV4 is expensive nowadays. It's quite expensive. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't hit into the fence here in the back. Hey, Nissan, I smashed your Rogue into a fence. Here's your keys back. Oh, it has parking sensors, but it doesn't do the camera in this mode. Interesting. What the heck? It's not even moving anymore. Ah! That was weird. It's not rolling. Anyways, yeah, I could see people wanting the torque converter, but the RAV4 is expensive. So that's the one downside about the RAV4 is it's pretty up there. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about the Nissan Rogue, and let me know what you think about turbo 3-cylinder with auto stop start. You can turn it off. Still, turbo 3-cylinder with auto stop start.